I do have a Sport Plus on this one because it's the F Sport. Woo, F Sport version. We did not like this car the last time we had one. We had the big LS 500H a little over a year ago, and that means it was the hybrid version of the latest LS, and we were not fans.
We wanted power. We wanted good power. We didn't want the hybrid drivetrain.
Which was also loud and annoying.
Keeping it from being a good car.
Yes.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
This car is huge. The other one was huge. Since 2018, Lexus has offered that hybrid, but they've also offered the twin-turbo V6, which is how this car should just come.
Agreed.
They got rid of the V8, so now LS 500 is no longer connected to 5-liter V8. It's the model number now that doesn't have any meaning.
Agreed.
It's just the large car from Lexus.
It is, and first off, there's a revolutionary improvement not having this in the hybrid. I so thought that undermined the car. And that one was loaded. It was 110 grand. It had the super expensive stereo. It had the super expensive back seats, executive seats.
Yes.
Things we liked, but man, it was crazy over the top. This doesn't have any of that. Keeps the price down, but it has the better engine. We so disliked the hybrid in this body type. This is the 2021 model. They've done lots of little revisions, little revision things.
Yeah.
My question, though, on the LS 500 is this. I understand the twin-turbo V6. I mean, it's like 412 horsepower.
416, 442.
No, there
it's
you go.
a lot.
It's good, and it picks
this
up
thing
well.
moves.
In rear-wheel drive form, Lexus claims, it's funny to look at you in the mirror, that's very weird. Lexus claims this will do 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds in rear-wheel drive form. That is monstrously fast for a car this big.
It is. It feels fast.
But here's my question. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting the mirror because I'm looking at my friend in the mirror. It's great. Here's my question. Lexus has that proven 5-liter V8.
Yeah.
Sounds good. It's interesting. I'm really surprised they don't still offer that in this car. I understand that everybody else has gone to turbos and superchargers. I get it. But we know that engine's reliable. It's been a Lexus product forever. And we know that it's an engine that actually has a little bit of personality. I'm surprised they don't keep offering it just to be the only one in the segment that does.
You mean they should offer the V8?
I think they should offer the V8.
Well, it's probably eco, but on the other hand, this engine combined gets 21 mpg.
Sorry.
And because it has twin turbos, your foot is going to be buried everywhere you go.
Yep.
You're going to get in and turn it to the Sport Plus and bury your foot. And it actually sounds pretty good.
Decent.
Moves the car.
Very good power.
Just over 5,000 pounds. This thing's huge and heavy. But it doesn't drive huge and heavy.
Agreed.
It feels huge and heavy back here. I feel huge and heavy. I feel like a baller. But for $88,800 and some dollars, this thing is the stripper. It's all-wheel drive.
It is the base model. Yeah.
But why would you buy a stripped-down LS 500, the flagship model? Why would you back it off to save some money? You're buying the big one anyway.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you just spring for all the stuff? I don't even get the window shade here to block the traffic. I have the window shade back here. I can't even control the glass moonroof panel.
You're just living in the dark ages back there now.
It's like they put the Peasants back here.
This is the Peasants spec.
You get all the fun because you get twin turbos, and I'm back here in Peasantville. I mean, at least the legroom is pretty good.
Legroom is great. You can still control the passenger seat. You can slide that forward and feel like an executive.
That's the only button I get to play with.
You're
I want to play with stuff.
You don't have the executive back seats, which the positive of not having the executive back seats is the fact that you get a lot of trunk space back. The hybrid had almost no trunk space.
Yeah.
The seat's just moving.
I'm just playing with the seat because I'm bored.
It's all good.
There's no screen?
No, there's nothing. Nope, there's nothing.
Where is the entertainment?
That is the whole executive package, which, if I remember correctly, is about $13,000 add-on. It's a lot.
I just want to watch the seat
But
move.
you can make the seats do lots of cool things.
Yeah.
You can have business class seating back there, essentially.
That's
what it comes down to.
I mean, the width is pretty good. I don't need the width. I just need the leg room.
Well,
and
yes.
it does have that.
These seats in general, 28-way adjustable seats, this seat for the driver is excellent. I mean, the question that you have to ask here is, who are you buying this for? I think if you're buying it to have it more as a livery car, you want the executive back seat package because that's where the person's going to feel
But you don't want to skimp
wonderful.
on the amenities and the buttons and the screen.
But if the main reason you're driving it is for you as the driver, I think you can skip that package.
Yeah, but why would you buy this car to be a driver's car? It ain't.
Well, but I don't think it's a driver's car. I think it is the more driver version of an executive car. The guys that buy, I get a new CEO car every couple of years, and I drive myself places.
I suppose.
This is who this car is for, because the F-Sport gives it decent dynamics. Now, Lexus is obsessed right now with the Lexus driving signature, which...
Define decent.
They haven't. Well,
decent?
hang on. They haven't gotten anything that is really sporty yet, even though they are improving their stuff. But this actually has better ride than that hybrid did.
It
drove a couple
does.
years
I
ago.
agree.
And it is a sportier version, which means the body control is also better. So I think,
Yeah, okay.
look, this is not any kind of sports car. It doesn't have any kind of sporty feel in the driving, but it doesn't have any wallow to it. It doesn't have an uncomfortable ride. Those were two things that were problematic with the last one we drove.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also expect that when you go to the F-Sport version and you go to, more sporty goodness, that the ride would get worse, but it's better than the hybrid one.
Well, the good news is the F-Sport version does have the adaptive variable suspension. So that's good news for a car this big.
Yep.
But to get the dynamic handling package, which means the variable ratio steering
And rear steer.
and rear steering, you can't get all-wheel drive. You can only get rear-wheel drive. So you have to choose. But in a car like this, notice that all-wheel drive hump is gone, the Lexus lump at your ankle, at your right ankle.
Yes, I have.
That's missing.
Wow, hey.
Because the car's so
whoa.
big, they can fit the all-wheel drive running gear in without making a lump.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
That's
Yep.
a good thing,
Not
but then
breaking
you
my
can't
ankle.
get the dynamic handling package. Now, you might be asking, why would you want dynamic handling on a car this big? Maybe you don't. But there are things about this car and how it drives that suggest it's smaller than it is. Who buys this car? Besides the livery people, who is it?
This has to be the guy who wants the big flagship Lexus sedan to drive himself. That's the only way to get this. The only reason to get this spec.
How many of those kind of people are there?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you there. But I'm genuinely surprised, without all those bells and whistles, that this is so much better to actually drive. It's not great to drive, mind you, but it is so much better than the hybrid version was.
Typically, the hybrid
we
versions.
like Toyota's hybrids quite a bit, but I thought that was the wrong drivetrain in this big LS, and I get in this one, and I'm aware of the fact that bells and whistles are gone, but I'm so much more like, okay, this feels worthwhile, that I'm almost willing to let it slide. Other interesting updates in here. This has a wider screen for the terrible interface. Lexus has a new interface coming.
Now we showcased more of the worst thing we make.
Here's more territory for the
Good.
bad interface. Lexus has a updated interface coming. They know the current one's not good. They are updating it. That's good. We can't wait. Of course, if you plug your phone in, Apple CarPlay is something you're going to want to use. Here's a trick. Used to have all of the climate controls and all of the seat controls about 3 layers down. Lexus has heard that complaint. They have dedicated buttons right here on the center console that when you press those, that part of this interface pops up for you to instantly use. So that's cool that they've heard. Another thing that surprises me is this has not only a heads-up display, which is very common in these cars, but it is a wide heads-up display. It's like edge to edge of the steering wheel area you're going to normally take a look at, so they can give you tons of information, and it's full color.
Yes,
so
which is
you
nice.
get lots of information out of that heads-up display. I mean, heads-up displays are awesome. I really like them. Executive cars like this, they should have them, but I always feel like it's pinched together in one controlled space. Lexus is going, we've got real estate, let's just spread it out, which is really cool.
But yeah, see, you as the driver get all the attention.
Yep.
Back here's the passenger, I'm getting ignored. No fun, no entertainment.
That's why
no
it's 88
buttons,
grand.
no nothing.
Yeah.
Why would you keep the price down at $88,000? That's a bunch of money.
Yeah, it is. It's fair.
But look at this car, especially in this color.
Thank
Walk
God for
your
a color.
eye around. Yes, it's been around for a little while now, but it still looks really good. The wheelbase is huge on this car.
Yes.
I'm experiencing the wheelbase right now. It is longer than the base model Ford Expedition. It's 10 inches shorter than the EL version.
Is it
It
really?
is long.
But it's longer
a
than the
long-
base
Than
Expedition?
the base Expedition
That is
model.
amazing.
119, 120 inch,
Wow.
depending on the model year. This is a 123 inch long wheelbase.
That is a ton.
That does make it ride very well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the car I could see you doing road trips in. For driver, for passenger, that's great. But this isn't the car people buy. So what's crazy to me is this is a niche car, even though it's a typical sedan shape.
And
It's huge.
Every big luxury manufacturer has always offered their flagship executive sedan, and yet that is becoming even more of a niche buyer because we're losing to SUVs, which brings up 2 other thoughts I had. First off, you got rid of the quite excited seatbelt receptacle that used to rise out of the seat. That's gone away.
Excitable seatbelt.
Now maybe that comes back with the executive package. I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you decided that was way too phallic and got rid of it. So that's gone. While I'm very comfortable here, I can't get low enough. And also, the car has a rising feature that when you turn it off, it rises to help you get out and rises to catch you when you get in. I think this is how SUVs are ruining everything. All the good things being ruined by SUVs, because we all have this belief now that we have to sit high. I think this car, especially this big, should have another 2 inches worth of downward seat travel. I'm perfectly comfortable.
But you can't. It has 28 positions.
Yes, I know.
And seat heating and seat cooling.
Yeah, 28 different
It has
movements.
to pack a lot of stuff in there, and so they probably can't get it any lower because of all the motors and the wiring.
Like, I want to be about there, and I would feel really pretty great in this car. Granted, I have weird torso apparently.
It's the torso that's
it
doing
is the
that
weird
to
torso.
you.
Yeah,
the torso
for sure.
strikes again.
But I can't get any lower, and I'd like to. But it just makes me feel like, okay, we're also trying to bridge the gap between the people that want to buy a car but are conditioned to the ride height of an SUV.
Yes,
we've found a middle ground.
I don't know what $88,000 on the inside is supposed to feel like, but I don't think we're here.
Really? Okay.
Now, you can get the Kiriko glass. There is even more to this car. You can add on so much more visual excitement. Unnecessary, but it's so pleasing that that's what luxury feels like. For your eye, for the senses, I'm not seeing this to be any different than a $50,000 or $60,000 interior. Materials are good, build quality is very good, but $88,000, this needs to be, I think, a step up. Surprise, delight, material breakup. It's fine, but we're not quite there yet.
I see what you're saying. It feels like about a $60,000 interior on a nearly $90,000 car.
We make it to have an option for people to spend money on because you want the big one. Yeah, there's a lot of space back here, but how many times are you taking passengers like this? Unless you're livery. And then if you're livery,
you have to go
of all
higher.
your options, you're getting an Escalade.
Probably
I
SUVs,
guarantee you're
SUVs
not
ruin
getting
everything.
this.
You're right. That's a
How
good
many
point.
livery LS 500s do you see? Not a lot.
Good point.
Get ready to not be entertained back here.
Okay, I'm ready.
The doors have the soft close feature. Did you notice that?
I did.
That really just ramps up the driving experience.
Mm-hmm,
I like that sitting here makes the car feel smaller around you than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't look behind you because then you'll be, oh, right, there's all this car back there.
Why is my passenger
What is that doing?
so far
my
back?
gosh.
I have my legs almost completely out, which is crazy to think about. It's amazing.
You've got the tow coolers down there.
I do have
we
tow
haven't
coolers
turned them
and
on
heaters.
yet.
Yes, it's true.
10-speed transmission. Unfortunately, on the Lexus LS 500, Lexus, has decided to give it a Prius Shifter. Have you noticed? It's the same kind of action and movement that's on the instrument panel of a Prius to put it in gear.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reminded of anything related to Prii when I get in my LS 500. Something cool, something really amazing to help me feel like this is a different step up.
Sure.
It is kind of weird looking at you in the rear view.
It is strange, isn't it? We're having a totally different conversation because we look at the rear mirror. I need to check my hair.
This car just moves. Yeah. I like that it's got the boost gauge and it's got the sliding bezel here, so you put it in Sport Plus. That's great. Yeah, see, in traffic like this, up a hill, this is when you want turbos. And I think that's why, stay there.
Good to see you.
Yep, hang up your phone. This is why the turbos are so necessary, because to have a car this big, it does need to move. The power numbers suggest it would be slower, but it isn't.
Yeah, mid 400s and 5,000 pounds.
Everybody at the light.
Yes, you can.
It's actually quite fun. Boost gauge is nice to have. It just tells me about how much fuel I'm not saving.
A boost gauge on your executive cruiser. But again, all of these cars are doing 0 to 60 around 5 seconds. That is really high.
Yeah.
Motorcycle, you're fast.
I really want to chase the bike, but this is not the car to do it in.
Well, but you would do better than anybody would ever think.
Probably
That's
so.
What's crazy, because you do have a lot of power, and it is well composed. It's not fun to drive, but it's well composed.
An opening. Hey, look.
We will chase the bike.
There
He's not expecting the red Lexus Super Sedan to come up on him at all.
What is the maw doing in my rearview mirror?
I'm so glad that Lexus offers this in a bright color, though. I think it's really cool to see it in red.
You mean better for cops to see, or
whatever? That's fine.
I mean, if you're booking like this, like we are, this little area, this driver's area right here, makes the car feel smaller. And it does drive smaller than it would suggest. Kind of a driver's car, like we're talking about, a little bit.
It's the driver spec of the huge executive class sedan, which is a really weird niche. The Germans keep offering that, so I get it. But nobody in Germany's buying this for the Autobahn, by the way.
No,
that's not
unfortunately, the top speed is limited to 136, something low for Germany.
I am a little disappointed that without the executive back seats, I want more headroom back here.
Yes, you need more headroom, you need more entertainment, more buttons, more stuff to push, more stuff to brake.
It's comfortable back here. Even without the super wonderful Mark Levinson stereo system, the stereo is still pretty good.
The magical
There was like a
concert hall
20-something speaker version we had on the last one. I don't think this has that, but that's okay.
I don't judge a car by its stereo.
Well, but Lexus has gotten a lot of mileage out of having really nice stereos. The one in this car is the stripped down version of this car.
Don't you feel bored
with
back there?
F-Sport on top of it.
Yes.
I like it so much better as a driving vehicle. But it is so much worse than the one we had as far as bells and whistles. So what that says to me is you need to buy the F-Sport version and you need to add those packages on, the executive package and that kind of stuff, to get the best of both worlds, even though I'm so much happier with this than I was with the last one.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like it drives better. It's better composed.
Absolutely.
And I liken that to the F-Sport package. That is that adaptive variable suspension. That's the biggest thing that you get with the F-Sport. The rest is trim. You get dark vapor-coated wheels and trim, and F-Sport badging, and special colors, and special materials. It's mostly a trim package.
Well, the 2021 refresh, I think, has improved this car. Nice tweaks across the board, and I think it has made it the car it should be. I would still say don't get the hybrid.
Look, this is a guilty pleasure car. It's not a driver's car. It doesn't handle well. It's a giant, enjoyable place to be because it's so quiet. Hey, look, a Ventador.
Yep.
Oh, a Ventador.
Convertible, no less.
He's going to burn to the ground any second. Just you wait. As soon as he puts it in
We'll
sport,
put a link to that
sport
video
mode,
because I promise you that exists.
he's going to put it in sport and over-rev it just slightly and have a meltdown. We're going to be fine. See, aren't you happy back
I'm back
there?
here, legs crossed. I mean, I want like an inch more headroom, but again, I don't have the super duper seats.
Yeah,
I would like to have
okay
bells
up
and
here,
whistles.
though. See,
but no, but you're great. That's the thing. This
have
is
the extra vertebrae.
This is the non-livery version. Yeah, for sure it is.
So why do you buy the non-livery version? Just to say I bought the expensive Lexus?
Well, because you're driving yourself and you rarely ever have passengers. I wonder
And all
of
of your
these cars.
huge friends fitting back there?
I know.
Buy an SUV. Buy an Escalade.
That's what's happening, though. People are absolutely doing that. And honestly, I think this is far more interesting than most SUVs. I mean, and price-wise, I mean, come on, yes, the Escalade will tow, the Expedition will tow. I get all that kind of stuff. Your Lincoln Navigator is, 7 seats of craziness. I do get that. But I do love that sedans exist. I love that they continue to exist. Luxury sedans, I think, is a fascinating market. You and I owned old broken down ones and had tons of fun with them.
Old broken
because there's no second buyer. And I think for this version, there's even less chance of a second buyer.
Really?
Yes, because
I'd buy this at a deep discount.
But here's the reason we didn't buy Lexus LS and they did our cheap
Because they
sedan
would
challenge.
run.
Because all they do
They'll
is run and
just
it'd be
run.
boring. It'd be like, yep, I'm back here, it's running again. Which, depending on who you are, could be great.
Well, then we got to do interesting things with them. We need an overlanding version.
We're going to overland. There you go.
Interesting.
We're solving the world's
But
problems
Casey
on this review.
daylighters and just giving yourself permission to screw stuff to the body panels. Just irreverent.
That's the second buyer for this car for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely. I got somewhere to be here.
Okay.
I got executive stuff to do.
Sir.
Yeah.
Put
see?
your head against the headrest
You
because
know
we're
it.
going to take off now.
Yeah. All right. See, twin turbos.
Ooh, twin turbos.
That makes it happen.
There we go.
That's impressive.
Yes, and it sounds good. Well, that's interesting. It turns orange.
It does when you get close, yes. And, by the way, the last one sounded terrible, too. The transmission was bad, it sounded bad, the power was bad, it drove badly, the ride was bad. Almost every one of those has been solved. We just lost all the super expensive executive packages that made it an incredible place to be. So you could merge the two worlds very easily. Go on the Lexus website, spend some more money.
Well, that's it. That's just it. We found our useful for this car. It's just drag racing people at the light.
Bombing
and
through traffic.
Maybe a little bit of overlanding on its second life.
Overlanding.
Right?
That's what it says to me is that the perfect version of this car is right around 100 grand. That's what this says to me. This is 88.
A perfect LS 500.
The one we had before was 110. I think.
Here we go. One more
right
time.
around 100. Okay, good.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Full throttle. Oh, The little hairdryer icon turns yellow too.
Yeah, it's giving you some real stuff here.
Well, that's good.
Good braking.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
see?
braking?
Nothing else, I can be entertained.
Guess what?
Am I not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Am I not entertained?
15.7-inch front discs on the F Sport and 6-piston front calipers. I mean, name sports cars that have all
Seriously?
that goodness.
There's not that many,
I mean,
you're
it
right.
kind of needs to be because it's
It needs to
5,000
be
pounds
5,000.
and you'll crash into Subaru Outbacks if
Yes.
you don't have it, but nevertheless.
Yes.
Ask Lexus for the overlanding option. You tick the luxury and overlanding.
Luxury Overland.
The
now available
glamping
from
equivalent.
Lexus. You're right.
There it is.
Yes. Glamping on wheels. That's what we need.
I'm going to check how I look.
There you go.
All right. You know, at least I can check on this tiny mirror.
At least your hair is controllable, you know.
My hair does look good.